Okay, so here we are once again. This time last year, I think we were doing this little discussion with you, Richard.
And it's a day later.
Oh, it's a day later. Okay, so it's a day later, but it was a fewer crew, I have to say. There's like a massive crew here. Tell us about the race.
So, actually, we've got the same number of crews we had last year, but talking about the race, it was a challenging race and it was awesome. Like, at the downwind, as you know, most of the way, and at one point, I think Will Dargy might have been steering. We hit 29 knots down the face of wave, and it's something I don't recommend.
And I believe you may have torn the odd sail?
Oh, we don't talk about that too much, but the answer's yes. Yeah, but they're all repairable.
Exactly.
Except for my wallet.
Oh, except for your wallet. 29 knots, that's pretty good for this boat.
It's the fastest it's been by 4 knots. I mean, Alice actually has the record of 24.5, or had the record. It's now 20. It then went to 25.7, I think it was, and then 29. That's enough.
That's enough. And then fortunately, the last bit was uphill, so you didn't need all those downwind sails.
Correct, yeah. So we had a good sail upwind and a fantastic race against Khaleesi up the river. That was fun. But these guys are awesome. They did a really good job.
I think Juliet said, actually, it was really nice to have a southerly. That's a pretty rare thing, Juliet, isn't it?
When you're stuck without as many kites, that's what you got to do.
Okay, so very quickly, I wouldn't mind. There's a few faces I remember from last year, but sort of left to right, let's just introduce who you are and how you got to be here. Annie?
Oh, Sarah.
Sarah?
I don't know, how did I get here? I did the youth program at RPA, and from there did the match racing and some ocean racing. I've done a few of the other offshore races, but second race on Pretty Woman, so it was good.
Excellent. And Juliet, we saw you last year.
Yeah, I sailed on Pretty Woman last year with Richard, and it's always great to come back. It's such a great boat to be on board of, and an awesome opportunity that Richard gives us to be here, so we're all just super grateful.
Yeah, great. And next up?
I'm Gemma. I also did the youth program at RPA, did all the match racing stuff. Started sailing on Pretty Woman this year, had a lot of fun and did my first Hobart with them. So.
Well done. Now there's a face I recognise again.
I'm Ant. So I did the race with Richard last year and the year before. Did the YD program through RPA, and then just done a whole bunch of offshore sailing basically on Pretty Woman.
Excellent. Good. Next up.
I'm Georgia. I started sailing on Pretty Woman this year as well, but done a bit of skiff sailing and the YD program. So yeah, good.
Here she is.
She is. Good. And
Alistair. I also did the youth program at RPA.
Come forward, mate.
And yeah, it was my first Hobart this year on Pretty Woman, which is good wonder.
fantastic.
Yeah, and I'm Will. Also sailed with a bunch of these guys at the RPA. Done a bunch of different sailing, but not offshore. So yeah.
And finally,
Liam. I'm regular crew on Pretty Woman, but I've done the youth program. This is my third Hobart with Pretty Woman as well.
so Richard, the question back to you is, are you the only person working with the youth program here? Because you look like you've got most of them.
Make it clear, I'm not in the youth program.
You're not in the youth program, there you go.
But an interesting statistic is that 8 out of the 12 on the boat are under 30. We won't talk about the older people. But the other thing is that a number of the crew are younger than the boat. So the boat's 26 years old. Who's younger than 26?
And a chance for the guys at the back who look like they've had a few miles under their belts there. Guys, how is it?
Older than the boat.
You are older than the boat. And how do you find it? It must be a bit of a buzz sailing with the young guns. Yeah.
Experience, the mixture of the young and old is great. You know, we learn from them and they learn from us.
Fantastic. All right, well done, Richard. That's another fantastic turnout.